We have to build low-income housing. People talk about affordable housing, but that affordable housing is well out of the reach of the poorest among us. The city's population over the past 30 years increased by about 1 million people, but we didn't build housing for 1 million people. And of the housing that we built it for people who had money. And we built scraps along the way through incentives, tax incentives, for in the median. But we built almost no truly low-income housing. So as a result, we have NYCHA, which has 640,000 people living in buildings that were designed for 440,000 people. We have 300,000 cases in eviction court, which is equivalent to the population of Boston, right? That is the size of our low-income housing problem. And so when people talk about affordability, we want to create relieve pricing pressure across the entire spectrum of real estate, residential real estate. We need to start with low-income housing.
How would you do that? Having said all that you said, which would you start with? Because every mayor who's come in, as you know, and I know from many terms of different mayors, has made a commitment to providing a certain number of affordable housing units, and yet it never seems to work out that way, as you just said. And also NYCHA, in the conditions in which it is, and having to spend the money that cities have to spend to sort of upgrade even to basic living standards. What would you first tackle in the affordable housing crisis in what you discussed?
There are a few pieces that are super critical. The first is that we do need to renovate NYCHA. It is in horrible shape, $41 billion of deferred maintenance. I think we need to think about alternate financing for this. I believe firmly in social housing as a very interesting alternative. Like, look at Co-op City, right? Could we actually create some sort of limited ownership over these properties for the people who have actually suffered through this, living in these conditions for sometimes generations, and give them a stake, an equity stake for some, in these properties. And then we need to think differently about how we accumulate and add to the stock of housing, stock of land that we have for new development.